100% Ryan was the one who put this line in here. Not SNL, not Tina Fey, not Blake Lively, but Ryan.
Ryan Reynolds who wrote that joke. Of course. Also, what did Amy Schumer say to Blake Lively?
And it was the perfect storm for people like us that are already so fed up with her lies.
She alleges that one of the ways she was manipulated and used on this set.
They say Hollywood thrives on drama, but few sagas have captured the public's attention quite like the explosive legal battle between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. What started as a behind-the-scenes dispute over the filming of It Ends With Us has spiraled into a spectacle of accusations, counterclaims, and endless media coverage. Add an unexpected cameo from conservative commentator Candace Owens, and you have all the ingredients for a high-stakes showdown. But that's not the whole story.
You. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Blakey. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then, after unsuccessfully attempting to raise concerns with Sony, Miss Lively expressly told Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath that there were serious HR problems on set. Mr. Heath responded that they knew, implying that someone had mentioned to them that Miss Lively had raised concerns. In response, Mr. Heath told Miss Lively that he thought that she had wanted to see the nude video of his wife. It's a big deal to her. Okay, I get it. I respect boundaries. I respect consent. Here's what I don't understand.
In the middle of it all stands Ryan Reynolds, an A-lister who inadvertently, or perhaps intentionally, threw more fuel onto this already raging fire when he took the stage at Saturday Night Live. So how did this once promising collaboration turn into a clash of egos, legal documents, and of course scathing public opinion? Let's dive into the facts, the controversies, and the speculation that's keeping everyone on the edge of their seats. First glance, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni seemed like a dream team. Both were hailed for their dedication to portraying raw, emotional stories that resonated with mainstream audiences. When whispers emerged that they would be working together on an adaptation of Colleen Hoover's novel, It Ends With Us, fans went wild.
I believe to be is a boat full of lies. It's about taking feelings, emotions, and just, your little sensitive feelings and turning them into making a mountain out of a molehill. Is that what you say? Yes, making a mountain out of a molehill and ruining what I believe to be possibly not a perfect angel's lives, because I don't believe anyone is a perfect angel, but I don't believe Justin Baldoni is a guilty, sinister, evil man. And it's very, I will say, it's very parallel to what we're seeing in worldly global news. And turning the world, or trying to turn the world against that person because you have more access to power.
Prospect of Lively's elegant screen presence, combined with Baldoni's knack for heartfelt storytelling, promised a movie that might tug at everyone's heartstrings. But sometimes, an ideal match on paper doesn't translate well to real life. Almost as soon as filming began, stories started circulating that not everything was peachy on set. Some rumored an uncomfortable atmosphere, while others dismissed such talk as typical Hollywood gossip. Initially, no one took these tales too seriously. After all, it's not uncommon to hear grumbles about creative differences in show business.
Ryan was the one who put this line in here. Not SNL, not Tina Fey, not Blake Lively, but Ryan. And sure enough, some amazing mommy sleuth sent me a link yesterday, which you guys don't forget, you can always email me tips, info@CandaceOwens.com. And she says, check out this broadcast on an Australian radio show called Fifi, Fev, and Nick for Breakfast, literally a Melbourne, Australia station, where they had a guy who's been with SNL for 25 years. His name is Cue Card Wally. He literally holds the cue cards for SNL. And he was just opening up with them in a friendly conversation about how exciting hosting that 50th anniversary was. And at the very end of the conversation, Cue Card Wally gets asked about that line. Ryan Reynolds jumping up and making a joke about the Justin Baldoni situation. And take a listen to what Cue Card Wally had to say. She filmed one scene, the dance scene, where they are talking to each other, and she lies and claims that he was out of character, but forgot to mention that she was speaking to him out of character. Why didn't she just ask the intimacy coordinator from that day forward to be with her every step of the way? She didn't do that. Why is it that after that scene, which is supposed to be the huge scene that made her uncomfortable, did she invite him into her trailer while she was breastfeeding? None of this makes any sense. To now acknowledge that you had communication with the intimacy coordinator actually proves their point, that your list of 17 demands that you sent in November to put a complete stop to principal photography was always a nonsense. You were always making things up that never were an issue. You had access to an intimacy coordinator, which is exactly what Justin Baldoni's team is alleging. They never deprived you of an intimacy coordinator.
Still, small sparks can ignite bigger fires, and those sparks multiplied the moment personal tensions bled into the public domain. What exactly went wrong? According to Lively's early accounts, Baldoni and his production team pushed certain boundaries, leading her to feel uneasy during filming. Conversely, sources close to Baldoni insisted these concerns were wildly exaggerated. Back then, the public mostly chalked it up to he said, she said drama. But as we soon discovered, that was only the beginning.
I'm not providing any excuses for Colleen Hoover here, but I do think that strategy of love bombing would work, because what they're thinking is all we have to do, if you're Blake and Ryan, is imagine what these people want. What would be the biggest help to them? What are their biggest dreams? How do we help them realize those dreams? So for Brandon Sklenar, we know, it's not confirmed that they helped, but we know that during this time period, he signed with WME, the biggest agency in the world. And he's not that big of an actor, but that happened for him suddenly. We know with Colleen Hoover, it was probably likely this pitch of you should own your book rights. You should own the sequel rights. We want to help you do that. Maybe they were going to take a piece of the production company. Who knows? We know with Channing Tatum, it was Gambit, this role that he had dreamed up since he was a child. And they just went along with it. I think all of these people went along with it, not perceiving that there was evil afoot.
It wasn't long before Lively decided that the rumored issues on set merited legal action. Her initial complaint featured allegations of unethical behavior, lack of clear communication around intimate scenes, and a hostile work environment. The media pounced, fueling headlines like Blake blows the whistle and Lively speaks out. Hollywood harassment or overreaction? Though the court documents contained serious allegations, critics quickly noticed that some parts seemed vague or dependent on hearsay. For instance, Lively claimed certain scenes were shot in a manner that felt exploitative. Yet skeptics, including several crew members who anonymously spoke to entertainment outlets, hinted that these scenes were actually handled with care. The discrepancy put the burden of proof squarely on Lively's shoulders. Even so, the case had liftoff. Public began debating the nuances of set protocols, especially regarding intimate or potentially sensitive content. Did Lively escalate the situation prematurely, or was she shining a light on behind-the-scenes exploitation that Hollywood has hidden for far too long? Opinions started to polarize. While some labeled her a trailblazer, others doubted her claims. The stage was set for an even bigger confrontation, a confrontation that would soon involve new players and more dramatic twists. But that wasn't all, teased Lively's legal team. They hinted they had more evidence up their sleeves. And so the world watched, waiting to see what bombshells her amended complaint might drop. When that amended complaint finally landed, the public anticipated a gut punch of new revelations. Instead, what emerged made many scratch their heads. This fresh set of allegations seemed to repeat some of the same points from the original filing while layering on extra commentary that critics argue lacked solid evidence. Phrases like "I felt cornered" and "witnesses can attest" popped up throughout the document, but the specifics remained fuzzy. Almost immediately, media analysts and legal experts began pointing out glaring inconsistencies. One glaring example involved a story about a supposedly nude birthing scene that Lively claimed was shot without proper protective measures. Baldoni's legal team countered that she was fully clothed in briefs, a pregnancy belly, and a hospital gown. The difference between those two versions is stark and leaves plenty of room for doubt. If Lively misrepresented something so straightforward, where else might the cracks be? Meanwhile, fans of both parties argued online, dissecting every paragraph of the complaint. On one side, supporters rallied behind Lively, claiming the entertainment industry is adept at masking its misconduct. On the other, Baldoni's defenders believed she was sensationalizing harmless production choices to win public sympathy. Controversy only ballooned when a high-profile judge threw out parts of Lively's complaint, citing insufficient evidence. Suddenly, the narrative pivoted. Had Blake Lively overplayed her hand?
Ryan Reynolds who wrote that joke. Of course! Also, what did Amy Schumer say to Blake Lively? A lip reader has revealed all. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and of course Ryan Reynolds took Saturday Night Live's script and rewrote it, because that's what these two do. Famed cue card guy has now claimed that it was Ryan who pitched it. Took a joke. Deadpool, a Wolverine star, showed up, as we all know, at this anniversary, where Amy Poehler asked, Ryan Reynolds, how it's going? Why? What have you heard? This is the famed cue card guy. He's like this is, what's his name? Wally Fairstein. He did a podcast, and he's the one who holds the cue cards during the show. He's been doing it for quite some time. So clearly he would know. This isn't just some willy-nilly person.
And that's exactly when Candace Owens stepped into the conversation. A talk show host quipped one morning, hinting that the story was about to turn into an even bigger circus. Enter Candace Owens, a polarizing media figure unafraid to speak her mind. Known for her take-no-prisoners style, Owens dived into Lively's amended complaint, blasting it as a strategic attempt to paint Baldoni in the worst possible light. She pointed out how accusations that lacked proper corroboration were being fed to the public as though they were undeniable facts. Owens's commentary was undeniably harsh. She referred to Lively's case as a boatload of manipulations, accusing Blake's team of planting stories with entertainment news outlets to drive public sympathy. Whether you love or loathe Owens, her attention to the lawsuit acted as a magnifying glass, intensifying scrutiny on every claim and counterclaim. Hashtags like #BlakeLivelyLies started trending across platforms, accelerating the shift of public opinion against the actress. Yet some folks leapt to Lively's defense, asserting that Owens was missing the bigger issue of accountability in Hollywood. Was Lively simply standing up for herself and possibly other women who felt violated in filming environments? Did an outspoken commentator with a political edge risk distorting the conversation? Those questions hung in the air, fueling endless debates in comment sections, Twitter threads, and YouTube reaction videos. But Candace Owens was only one piece of the puzzle, an online critic observed. It was what happened next on Saturday Night Live that really threw a match into the powder keg. Saturday Night Live has a long-standing tradition of poking fun at current events, but rarely does its comedy spark such immediate and pointed backlash. During a star-studded SNL anniversary show, Ryan Reynolds, who happens to be Blake Lively's husband, made a quip that many interpreted as a jab at Baldoni's legal woes. The line landed awkwardly, leaving some viewers wondering if the comedic dig was appropriate given the gravity of the accusations flying around. Behind the scenes, eagle-eyed fans claimed to spot a tense exchange between Lively and comedian Amy Schumer. Internet lip readers speculated that Schumer had whispered something snarky about the lawsuit, adding yet another layer of intrigue. Before the night was over, social media was abuzz with theories. Was this a calculated move by Lively and Reynolds to shape the narrative? Did they believe humor would diffuse the negativity swirling around her lawsuit, or was it a petty swipe that could have deeper repercussions? Critics like Candace Owens doubled down, accusing the Hollywood power couple of trivializing a serious legal matter for laughs. Even some fans who believed in Lively's cause found it odd. If her experiences were as traumatizing as she claimed, they wondered why her husband seemed comfortable enough to crack jokes about them on national television. The entire fiasco only stoked more skepticism, turning what had already been an emotional lawsuit into a public relations nightmare. And just when everyone thought the intensity had peaked, the media machinery went into overdrive, an entertainment reporter mused. That's when the public realized this legal battle was about more than just two individuals. It's about how quickly reputations can crumble when celebrity clout and questionable claims collide. In the digital age, reputation often hangs by a thread. A single viral tweet or video clip can propel anyone into scandal or stardom. For Blake Lively, social media quickly turned into a battleground. Supporters used heartfelt tweets and stories to champion her cause, pointing out that women in Hollywood frequently face real, hidden injustices. Others, however, flooded Twitter with memes and side-by-side comparisons intended to showcase contradictions in her claims. A once beloved figure in fashion and film now faced an onslaught of negativity. News outlets, desperate for fresh angles, interviewed anyone with a sliver of inside information. Former co-stars of Lively, ex-employees of production companies, and even random neighbors chimed in, painting a chaotic picture with no clear resolution. Talk shows debated whether Lively's case represented a watershed moment for accountability or a cautionary tale about false or exaggerated allegations. Pundits questioned how this fiasco might affect other celebrities who find themselves treading that murky line between personal grievance and public scandal. The frantic conversation online spilled into real-life settings. Hair salons, grocery stores, coffee shops, where fans and casual onlookers swapped opinions. Some found Lively's timing suspicious, especially because multiple projects of hers were in the pipeline. Was she using the courts to garner headlines? Then again, if she truly believed she'd been wronged, why shouldn't she speak out? The swirling confusion only magnified the drama, ensuring that no one could quite look away from the unfolding chaos. But, as numerous legal experts noted, none of this social media frenzy matters much if Lively can't prove her case in a courtroom. And that raises a crucial question. Could this lawsuit be the undoing of both her reputation and her role as a credible voice for on-set safety? People often forget that lawsuits aren't free. The time, money, and emotional toll they demand can be staggering, especially in the high-stakes world of Hollywood. For Blake Lively, the risk of alienating studios and producers looms large. Hollywood is known for its short memory when it comes to personal drama, but only if that drama doesn't jeopardize box office results. If Lively's name becomes synonymous with controversy, future projects might slip through her fingers. Brands looking to sponsor her or collaborate on endorsements could hesitate, unsure of how her ongoing battle might affect their bottom line. Justin Baldoni, on the other hand, finds himself treading thin ice. Even if he successfully defends himself in court, the stigma of being accused can stick. And if any detail emerges that even partially substantiates Lively's claims, his reputation could face permanent damage. For a filmmaker known for championing heartfelt, uplifting stories, these controversies cut especially deep. Ironically, Candace Owens, who isn't even a main player in Hollywood, has become a significant factor in shaping public discourse around the case. Her loud and relentless critique might push mainstream audiences to question Lively's reliability more than they otherwise would have. Love her or hate her, Owens adds a dimension of skepticism that can't be ignored. Then there's Ryan Reynolds, arguably one of the most bankable stars in the industry. While he's not the direct target of any lawsuit, his SNL joke and public persona are now tightly interwoven with Lively's predicament. If viewers perceive him as flippant or supportive of questionable tactics, the rift in public sentiment could widen. Already, small ripples of backlash have reached his social media accounts, with fans imploring him to step back or offer a more thoughtful stance. Amid the swirl of speculation, one consensus stands out. This feud, if it continues to escalate, could drag both Lively and Baldoni into prolonged legal entanglements. Neither party has shown any sign of backing down. Instead, each new motion or subpoena seems to spawn a fresh flurry of headlines, intensifying the storm. So where does that leave us? On one hand, we have Blake Lively, a beloved actress who took a bold step in claiming she was subjected to inappropriate treatment, only to face mounting questions about the consistency of her story. On the other, Justin Baldoni, a producer and actor fighting to clear his name in a lawsuit that threatens not just his reputation but possibly his livelihood. In the background, Candace Owens is fanning the flames, SNL quips are echoing through social media feeds, and fans everywhere are debating who to believe. Will this case set a precedent for how Hollywood handles intimate scenes and on-set guidelines? Or will it become a cautionary tale about the pitfalls of using public perception to bolster shaky legal claims? Truth, as always, is likely buried beneath multiple layers of spin, selective evidence, and clashing egos. One thing's for sure, this isn't the last we'll hear about the Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni saga. As new documents surface, more celebrities chime in, and the judge takes further action, the story could unravel in ways no one expects. Perhaps key witnesses will emerge, or maybe crucial evidence will seal the fate of one side. For now, we're left with more questions than answers. And that's exactly why you'll want to stay tuned. Because in Hollywood, where fortunes and reputations can change overnight, nothing is ever truly over until the final verdict comes in. Until then, the public will keep watching, the media will keep digging, and fans will keep guessing. After all, in the world of celebrity controversy, one person's shocking revelation can become tomorrow's trending topic in the blink of an eye. Who do you think is telling the truth? And how will this scandal shape the conversation around movie sets for years to come? Let us know your thoughts, and remember, sometimes reality is even more dramatic than the best scripts Hollywood can dream up.